All right, sounds good.
Hey everybody, welcome to Dynamite After Dark. I'm your host, Zanman Shane Sabunia, along with my good buddy, the Honorable Jeff. And for once, I didn't fuck
Ah,
up an opening, Jeff. Listen to that.
for once, it's a nice thing. It's like a great day in the neighborhood.
Welcome to everybody listening tonight. We are doing the post show for AEW Dynamite, and this is the week 2 of their Fyter Fest free per view show. I guess we'll call it, since it's a pay per view. It's meant to be pay per view quality, but for free on uh, TNT. So Jeff and I were talking just a little bit prior to the show starting, and one thing we wanted to talk about is the match order, the way they did things on here.
Which was brutal.
It wasn't the what I'm not going to say brutal, but it wasn't the way I would have structured it. I really think that we've talked about this before on the show, but Chris Jericho and Cody seem to be in the main event every week. I mean, last week they did main event with the tag team titles instead of Cody versus Boring Hager, but but I so
Did
so
you say Cody versus Boring Hager?
I did. So, I mean, I was
I
very happy
like
to
Jake Hager.
I was very happy to see that. But this week, they instead of having the tag titles main event and when a fantastic match between Hangman Page and Kenny Omega versus Private Party, they again went to Chris Jericho in the main event against Orange Cassidy. So, I really feel like the 8-man tag that they've been advertising for 2 weeks should have been the opening match, and then the tag title match should have been the main event. I mean, yeah, I
Just
mean, and I do realize that Cassidy versus Jericho is the longest running feud they have going, but it still doesn't feel like to me like Orange Cassidy should be in the main event of a show.
yeah, I agree. And by the record, we're live on our YouTube channel too. So,
Okay.
but I definitely agree with you. I think the fact that, to be honest, I think the fact they went this direction with this as the main event made this a subpar Dynamite and not the pay per view quality they were looking for.
Yeah, and they were originally the main event for this show was the World Heavyweight Championship match with John Moxley defending against the new FTW World Champion Brian Cage. But
And what the fuck is that? Seriously, I know the FTW and whatever, but seriously, we're just gonna name a champion.
why not? That's what Taz did. That's what Taz did in ECW, 25 years ago.
Yeah, I know, but still.
He's he kept not getting world title shots, and so he just like, well, fuck it. I'm the best in the world, so I'm going to create my own fuck the world championship. That's what FTW stands for.
Yeah, I
So
trust me, I get it, but
apparently not, because you're bitching about it. I mean,
but
it's no different than what Taz did in ECW. So I mean, it's not like it's not a recognized championship. It's just him saying, he's the baddest man on the planet, and he may choose to defend it or not to defend it. It's no different than Ted DiBiase. It's no different than Matt Taven. You know, no different than Moose,
well,
no different than Moose, which you've been happy about. So
different than Matt Taven, yes, because Matt Taven was the one of the few that was like, "I'm the real world champion. You need to come to me to defend it." A whole different thing. Now, DiBiase, Taz, and ECW, I get it, but
I don't think it's a whole different thing. Brian Cage was supposed to get a shot at the world title the night he didn't get it, and so Taz gave him a title.
and that is why we should not have had the promo we had last week with him saying that he was okay with it.
Yeah, well, we both thought that was a terrible promo. So,
Fair
well,
enough.
not a terrible promo, but a terrible idea behind the promo. Taz is never a bad promo, but
No,
uh, it was a poorly thought out idea last week.
yes.
And really, if you're if you're a contender for a major world championship, having an extra week to prepare is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. So,
True.
in my humble opinion,
You would think so.
you would, and I do.
As far as tonight goes, um, honestly, I thought it was no better than a regular Dynamite.
No, and like a lot of the regular Dynamites, they opened up with the tag team titles being on the line between
Yep.
Page and Omega, who always fucking deliver. Um, and therefore the show had nowhere to go but down. I mean,
And
it was
it
such
definitely
it
went
was such
down.
yeah. I mean, my feelings on Kenny Omega. He can basically do no wrong as far as I'm concerned over the last, since at least since Dominion 2017.
16?
Yeah,
No, 16.
was it 16?
Oh, yeah. Everything he's done since that title defense he had has been amazing. So we're going
You're right.
back
It
to.
was 2016, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And regardless, I've said it hundreds of times. If you are not a Kenny Omega fan, you don't know what wrestling is. Plain and simple. The fact that we get to see him weekly, the fact that we get to cherish everything he does, if you are not a Kenny Omega fan at this point, I don't know what to say other than
No.
stop listening.
No,
Because,
we've done our Mount Rushmore shows about the greatest wrestlers of all time, but it's really hard for me not to include Kenny Omega somewhere in that list because he has my three favorite straight on tag team matches of all time, and
yep,
four out of my five favorite just wrestling singles matches of all time. So I mean, it's really hard to say Kenny Omega isn't one of the greatest performers in the history of the planet for me. So you know. And like you said, we get him every week on Dynamite. If you're not enjoying him and not cherishing him, then I don't know what to tell you. Another guy we got to see this week that is one of the best performers on the planet right now. And I was happy to see him back, although we didn't get to do as much because it was an 8-man tag. But it was great to see Ray Phoenix back in the ring tonight.
yes, it was. Horrible match. Honestly, horrible match. But yes, great to see Ray Phoenix back. That was the end of it.
Can I just be a dick for a minute?
Go for it.
All right. So
Do it.
we've had Ray Phoenix. He was out for weeks because of the COVID. Then he got injured for a few weeks, so we haven't seen him, and we haven't seen Pentagon either. I really don't like wishing injuries on people, but if that's what it takes to get Ray Phoenix into a singles career, I wouldn't mind if his brother got injured for a while. I really wouldn't.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
I think Phoenix is just, and Pentagon's good too in the right setting, but I think that as far as an competitor, like on a day-to-day basis, Ray Phoenix is one of the greatest performers on the planet, and it just bugs me to no end that he's in this tag team, and I'm not saying it's not his choice to be in that